Welcome back to GP Outdoors. If you've been watching the channel lately, you'll know that the good folks at Big Tool Rack down in the US have been sending me up a few products to try out here in Canada. Today, I want to do a review on the Big Tool Rack work light. I've had it for about a month now, and I put it through its paces. And since it's an outdoor magnetic work light, I thought there was no better time of the year than to test it out here in a good old Canadian winter. If you're in the market for a work light, grab yourself a coffee and stick around. I think you're going to want to see this. Cheers. As you folks know, I don't do reviews on products very often, but when I do, I always like to make sure I use them for a period of time before I tell you what I think of them. So not only am I going to tell you what I did to this light, I'm going to show you what I did to this light over the last month. In case you're new to the channel, just a quick disclosure. Any products that I receive on this channel, especially the ones that I review, I always make sure that there's an agreement with the manufacturer that I will not receive any type of financial compensation for doing the review or for using the product. The words and opinions expressed on the video are mine and mine alone. They're not edited. And most importantly, I make sure it's clear to them that if they give me the product, I'm going to show the good, the bad, and if there's ugly, I'm going to show the ugly. Let me tell you a little bit about this product and show you how I tested it over the last month. It's a lightweight lantern-style work light. It's got a magnetic base on it, rubber coated. The back housing on it is a die-cast aluminum housing, has 3 LEDs, 500 lumens, and it's powered by a 3.7 volt lithium ion battery. The Big Tool Rack work light comes with its own charging cable, and it's great. You just charge it with your cell phone charger. Whether you're indoors, or you just want to charge it up in the truck, or you have a B-series Kubota like I do, which comes with a 12-volt plug-in receptacle, you can charge it while you work. The unit will rotate or tilt 270 degrees. The handle is actually covered with this rubber-like substance. It's called ethylene vinyl acetate, or EVA. I looked it up, did some research on it. It's really good for this application, and it has really good properties for low or negative temperatures, and it's also got a resistance to UV rays as well as to cracking. So great for an outside work light. Plus I like the fact that when you're working out in the cold, I'm not reaching up and grabbing a metal handle, I'm grabbing something soft and warm. The light itself, it's got 3 different light patterns on it. It has a high beam, it's got a low beam, and what I really like about it is they also included a flashing hazard or caution light setting on it. Really great for working with the tractor, or if you're out in the dark, or you're broken down, or you just need to drag something along, whether it's a trailer on the back of the pickup, or you're taking your tractor down the road at night. What really impressed me about this light is that from the day I took it out of the box, it took me 5 hours to charge it when the battery was fully depleted, and I got between 7.5 hours to 8 hours of operating time out of it, regardless of which light setting I put it on. Almost a month later, I'm getting the exact same results. Lithium-ion battery technology, really good for this application. It can take partial charges repeatedly hundreds and hundreds of times. It can take full charges from full depletion hundreds and hundreds of times. And it doesn't impact the performance of the unit. The unit also boasts a really wide operating temperature range. -4 degrees Fahrenheit to 104 degrees. And for me, that's -20 degrees Celsius to +40 degrees Celsius. And you're about to see that I put it through those negative temperature tests. So over almost a month of testing, I did a number of different things with this unit. The first one was one of my favorites. I call it the snowbank test. I threw this thing into a snowbank 8 times over the last month, from anywhere from a 5-hour period to a 14-hour period in temperatures from 3 degrees Celsius down to -21 degrees Celsius. Sometimes I threw it in the snowbank with the flashing amber caution. Sometimes I threw it in with no light on and then pulled it out of the snowbank, turned the light on, and still got more than 7.5 hours of charge out of it. And sometimes I threw it in the snowbank with the light on high beam. And after all of that, I still got almost a full 8 hours operating it yesterday. And hey, if you're like me, you've probably bought a number of different work lights over the years. And for me, I prefer magnetic work lights, whether it's for the tractor or the truck, or whether it's indoors or working on projects under the sink or in the basement. Always handy to have a magnetic base. And of course, every work light you go to purchase will always have some kind of marketing material that says it's got a really strong magnet or a powerful magnet or it's a strong, powerful magnet. But you never know until you open the box and you try it out. So I thought I'd test it out against my other work lights. So I'm going to call this the pickup truck test. I think a good work light that claims to have a really powerful magnet should be able to stand a few bumps here and there. I'm on my driveway. If you're new to the channel, the driveway is 1.25 kilometers long, which is just under a mile. I'm sitting at the edge of the road. The driveway goes through the forest down to the cottage. It's bumpy, hilly, not flat at all. It has a lot of undulations. The pickup truck is an off-road truck. It's got really stiff Bilstein suspension. So we're going to see if these lights can make it on the side of the truck all the way through the forest without falling off down to the cottage. Let's test it out. Whether it was the beacon, my initial work light I bought over a year ago, or the BTR work light, they've all identified in their marketing materials that they have a very strong and powerful magnet. As you folks know, I don't practice or rehearse anything. I've never done this before with these three lights, so we're both going to see what happens for the first time. Let's fire up the truck. I'll meet you down at the cottage. Cheers. Nice. This was my first magnetic work light for the back of the ROPS, as well as my beacon, which is magnetic. And as you've seen on the channel, they're not strong enough to stay on. I end up having to cable tie them to the top of the ROPS. So, I thought maybe I'd test them out. So if you're not familiar with tractors or you don't own one, tractors have no suspension whatsoever. So the bottom line is, on a paved, smooth, hard road or hard surface, with no weight on the back, no suspension, and 60 pounds of V-hook or studded chains on either tire, we're in for a pretty bumpy ride. Let's test these lights. And although Tim at Big Tool Rack told me that he had this light built and put together to be used with the equipment he sells, whether it's the Big Tool Rack or the Ultimate Tool Rack, the Yard Rack, etc., it's a work light. And it's turning out to be a really tough and sturdy light, especially here in this Canadian climate. So it's good for a lot of things. Whether you're working in the house, whether it's in your workshop, you're underneath the sink fixing some plumbing, you've got it on the back of the pickup, maybe you're heading out to the Jenny at night to do some work or to check the oil, or you're in the back shed, or you're on the tractor, or if you like the ATV or snowmobile, probably like me, you're out with your buddies doing long day trips and a lot of night riding through the forest. So you always make sure you're carrying a lot of extra supplies, whether it's a spare drive belt, spark plugs, fuses, etc. And most importantly at night in the forest, flashlight. I think I just found a new one. The bottom line is, it's a work light. It can be used for a lot of different things. and it's done a great job so far. So hey, at the end of the day, after putting it through all those tests for almost a month in the Canadian winter, in my humble opinion, this is a really good value for the money and a really good, strong, well-built magnetic work light. And I honestly, after a month, can't find one single thing wrong with this light. It still pivots properly, magnet still holds to the side of that truck, works great in negative temperatures, and it's just got a variety of different applications. So in my opinion, this work light gets 2 thumbs up. Well, I hope you found today's video informative and hopefully of help, especially if you are in the market for a new work light. Thanks so much for sticking around. If you like the channel, please click subscribe, hit the like button, and if you want to know when I'm posting videos, just click that little bell. Have a wonderful week with your families. I'll see you again on the next one. Cheers.